nothing superior for me to obtain, because I will have received the excellence offered by the paths of both Vaidhi and Rag. And if she speaks something while smiling gently, thereby revealing the brilliance of the rows of her beautiful pearl-like teeth, what significance will the oyster of liberation have? O Shamasundar, O you whose head is adorned with peacock feathers, whose face is graced with a laughing smile, whose Murali flute enchants the mind, and who are most expert in relishing rus with Srimati Radhika. O ocean of mercy, please make me a kinkari maidservant at the feet of your beloved. You are the lord of the life of the daughter of Krishabhanu Maharaj, and you are like a bee always eager to taste the nectar of her lotus-like face. O Rashikendra Shekhar, foremost of those who are Rasik, who are situated at the feet of Srimati Radhika, I worship you. O son of the king of Braj, O all-pervading one, O Mohan who enchants the minds of all, taking a piece of straw in my teeth, I pray that your supremely beloved Sri Radha be my dear worshipful goddess birth after birth. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear because of the mic. Whatever. Okay. First of all, offering unlimited, humble Dandavat pranams on the dust of the holy lotus feet of my worshipful Diksha Gurudevi Srimati Shamrani Didi, my Shiksha Gurudev Nichilula Prishtam Vishnu Parastot Sachi Shrimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Nichilula Prishtam Vishnu Parastot Sachi Shrimat Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all assembled devotees Hare Krishna. So we're taught there's a Vaishnava named Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, one of the great gurus in our disciplic succession, and he teaches us that if we honor the appearance and disappearance days of the devotees, the great Vaishnavas, then all of our obstacles in our path will be cleared. But if we neglect to do this, then obstacles will come in our way. So we have a practice in this temple to stop our regular readings and always honor a particular appearance day or disappearance day it is of that Vaishnava. So today is the appearance day of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, and also Sri Ramacandra Kaviraja. And so I think there's just a short little thing about Ramacandra Kaviraja. So I think maybe we can just jump into that really quick and then move on to Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Okay? Haribol. Yeah. Sri Ramacandra Kaviraj. Ramchandra, a king amongst poets, was born in the town of Sarajani on the banks of the Ganges as the son of Sunanda and Chavijina Sain, well-known minister of the king of Goda, a devotee of the Brahmins and Vishnu. Ramchandra was not in any way different from Narottam Das Thakur. Chiranjeeva Sain was a resident of Srikhand, whose wife's name was Sunanda. They had 2 sons. The older was Ramchandra, the younger Govinda. Ramchandra was a disciple of Srinivasacharya, who took the title Kaviraj. His Siddha name was Karuna Manjari. Wow. After the death of his father, Ramchandra went to live in Kumarnagar with his material grandfather, Damodar Kaviraj, who was a disciple of Narahari Sharkar. Later, he went with his younger brother Govinda to live in the village of Telia Budari in Murshidabad district. This place has the distinction of being his Shripad. Okay. Ramchandra's wedding. Oh, I remember this. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur has written that Ramchandra was a lifelong renunciate and never married. Haridas, on the other hand, writes in his Gaudiya Vaishnava Abhidhana that Ramchandra did get married, but never lived with his wife. Srinivasacharya saw Ramchandra on the very day of his wedding and said a few words to him about the temporary nature of material life, thus awakening within him an indifference to the world, such that he never took up the duties of householder life. This story has been taken from a book which is not accepted as authoritative by everyone. The following quote is taken from there. Srinivasacharya said, "Just look at how much enthusiasm everyone has for this wedding. They're spending so much money, and for what? Just to purchase, illusion, and quarrel. You don't realize that Maya has placed a noose around your neck, and so you take a great interest in the auspicious indicatory rituals. People celebrate weddings thinking that they are auspicious when they are not, and that they have been fulfilled when they have not." All right. The Kaviraj title. Srinivasacharya was so overcome with affection for Ramacandra that he gave him the Diksha mantra and engaged him as his personal servant. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, principle is that whether one's a householder or one's a renunciate, they should chant the holy names of Krishna and have sadhusanga. No difference. But he's setting an example for those who want to be renounced, my understanding. There's even like a much, I don't know where it is, but it's like a much heavier, not heavier, but like a story of how it happened or something like that. Like he was on his way to his wedding or something, and he heard from his guru, and then he just like turned around and left or something like that. I forget the exact story. I've heard Shrimati Sharmani tell it. The Kaviraj title. Srinivasacharya was so overcome with affection for Ramacandra that he gave him the Diksha mantra and engaged him as his personal servant. You know, Srila Gurudev, he said that for like if you're renounced, then be renounced. If you're married, then be married. He said, for those who are renunciates, they should follow the example of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and Sri Gopal. Yeah, and then for those who are households, they should follow the Pandavas like that. So, yeah, ideal examples. Srinivasacharya was so overcome with affection for Ramacandra that he gave him the Diksha mantra and engaged him as his personal servant. Through Bir Hambir became Srinivasacharya's disciple. Ramacandra acted as his Shiksha Guru. Ramacandra also visited Vrindavan, where he associated with Jiva Goswami and the other Vaishnavas, receiving their blessings. They were very pleased to hear his poetry, so much so that Jiva Goswami gave him the Kaviraj title. Wow. He thus became one of the 8 Kaviraj, Asta Kaviraj. He was Narottam Das Thakur's favorite companion for preaching activities and spiritual association. There's one more about his time in Vrindavan. Narahari Chakravarti has given an extensive description of Ramacandra and his visit to Vrindavan in the 9th wave of Bhakti Ratnakar. All the residents of Braj who saw him were attracted by his physical beauty. When Ramacandra visited the Radha Damodar temple with Jiva Goswami and saw Rupa Goswami's samadhi, he experienced ecstatic transformations that were a source of amazement to all. It's amazing that these same samadhis are there for us, you know. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, and Bhugarba Goswami gave him their blessings. He went to bathe in Radhakund and Shamakund and met Raghunath Das Goswami there. When he paid obeisances to Raghunath, the venerable saint affectionately embraced him. Ramachandra's friendship with Narottam Das Thakur has been immortalized by Narottam Das' prayer to Srinivasacharya for his association. Please be merciful, Prabhu Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das begs for Ramachandra's association. Okay. Shri Ramachandra Kaviraj ki jai. So now we'll go to Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. It's pretty extensive, but it's okay. She who was formerly Ananga Manjari has appeared to enrich Mahaprabhu's pastimes as Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Some say that Gopal Bhatta is actually Guna Manjari. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami appeared in 1500 AD as the son of Venkat Bhatt in the town of Srirangam in South India. Their residence was in a village not far from Srirangam called Belgundi. Mahaprabhu stopped at their house when he was in his South India tour. Yeah, and there's like a famous narration in Chaitanya Charitamrita that his father Venkat Bhatta and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are speaking back and forth about they were like Sri Vaishnavas, they worshipped Lakshmi Narayan, and Mahaprabhu was telling them that Sri Lakshmi Devi was trying to do austerities to get into the Rasa Leela, and that she wasn't qualified. So Radha and Krishna are superior. Like super simple argument, but really nice there. And Mahaprabhu gave mercy to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and his uncle is Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. Nice thing there. Well, it says here, some say both, so yeah, find out when we get there. Sometimes they have like multiple names even. I've seen, yeah. Nityananda Prabhu, yeah. Janavi, yeah. Yeah. I had never heard that also. I thought also Guna. Yeah. But sometimes they have different names like Raghunath Das Goswami and Gulab Kusumanjari. Sometimes they call her Rati, sometimes they call her Tulsi. According to Narahari in the Bhakti Ratnakara, Mahaprabhu gave Gopal Bhatta a dream vision through which he could witness all of his Navadvip pastimes. Wow. Though Gopal was an eternal associate of Krishna, he appeared in a faraway place in order to make a special contribution to Lord Gauranga's pastimes. Thus, even though he was living too far away to know anything about the Lord directly, he was still able to know long before he met the Lord in person that he had appeared and taken sannyas. As a member of his Vrindavan entourage, Gopal Bhatta did not particularly like the Lord's appearance as a sannyasi. This austere form distressed Gopal, who was thus crying alone when the Lord appeared to him and gave him this vision of his form as a householder in Navadvip. Gopal was overwhelmed with astonishment at seeing the Lord's beauty, and he fell down at his feet. When he looked up, the Lord had transformed into his sannyasi form again. Calming Gopal, he gave him some instructions and then foretold that he would go to Vrindavan before long, and there make disciples who would spread his teachings throughout the world. Okay, let's read the Radharaman story. Shri Radharaman. When Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami was visiting the pilgrimage centers of northern India, he found a Shalagram Shila on the banks of the Gandaki River. He took the worshipable stone form and carried it with him wherever he went, attending to it as Brajenjananda and Krishna himself. One day he thought that he would like to worship the Lord in a deity form, so that he could expand his service. On the very next day he found that Shalagram Shila had transformed itself into Radharaman to fulfill the wish of his devotee. This deity stands alone without any form of Radha standing by his side. Instead, as a symbol of Radharani, a silver crown is placed on his left side. So nice. The story is also told in the following way. It is said that Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami used to daily worship 12 shalagrams. He developed a desire to serve the Lord in the form of a deity, thinking that in this way he would be able to worship him in a much better way. The Lord within his heart knew his feelings. Through a rich merchant, he was provided with many beautiful items used in the worship of the deity, such as ornaments and clothes sent to him. Gopal began to worry that all these beautiful objects would be wasted because there was no way that he could use them unless he had a deity in human form. That night he put the shalagrams to rest, and in the morning he saw that one of them had been transformed into the Radharaman deity. When Rupa and Sanatan heard that Krishna had so mercifully appeared to Gopal Bhatta, they immediately came with the other devotees for darshan, and when they saw him, they were ecstatic with love. The annual festival commemorating Radharaman's appearance, when he is bathed publicly, takes place on the full moon day of Vaishak. The Radharaman temple is considered one of the most important in Vrindavan. Jai Shri Radharaman ki jai. Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. Okay, let's jump into this. Would anybody like to read this? You want to? I think I have to. You want to read Sumukhi? Jai. Sorry. You want to read on here?
Hare Krishna, Om Gyananandasya Gyananandina Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Paying my limited obeisances, humble obeisances to my Diksha Gurudev, Shri Shripad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Goswami Maharaj, and my dear Shiksha Gurudevi, Srimati Shamarani Didi, and to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, devotees assembled here. Hare Krishna. So, your phone, yeah. Thanks. So, this is a lecture by Srila Gurudev in 1986 on oh, sorry. So, so he says, first let us glorify Gopal Bhatta Goswami. During Chaturmasya Vrat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India to the Ranganathji temple. He began to dance and perform kirtan there, and all were attracted. The members of a very holy family met him there, and requested him, please stay at our residence for these 4 months of Chaturmasya, and after that you can go anywhere else. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted their invitation and thus stayed for 4 months in the separate room they had arranged for him, on the bank of the Kaviraja river. The head of the family was Srimal Bhatt, and he had 2 younger brothers, namely Prabodhananda Saraswati and Venkat Bhatt, who was the father of Gopal Bhatt. The 3 brothers had taken initiation in the line of Sri Ramanuja in Sri Sampradaya, and they were known through South India to be very learned persons. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtan at their home in Venkat Bhatt, and also spoke Harikatha to the family members, and in 1 month they were all totally changed. At first they were worshippers of Lakshmi and Narayan, but by the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they became Gaudiya Vaishnavas, worshippers of the divine couple of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. The history is so long, how he and his family became Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This boy, Gopal Bhatt, served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in many ways during Mahaprabhu's visits. When Mahaprabhu would go to take bath in the sacred Kaveri river, Gopal Bhatt used to go with him, holding his cloth, door, and kopan. Then, after Mahaprabhu took bath and returned to his residence, Gopal used to take his wet clothes and clean and dry. He would cook for Mahaprabhu and render many other services. He served day and night, and Mahaprabhu became so pleased with him. Gopal Bhatt was not only an excellent servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he was also a vastly learned person, because he had been taught by his uncle Prabodhananda Saraswati, who was one of the greatest learned persons of his time. Prabodhananda Saraswati knew all the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, and especially Srimad Bhagavatam, and he had written many books. Moreover, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had made him a great Rasik Vaishnav, a self-realized soul and taster of transcendental mellows. Wow. And thus he was able to write books like Sri Radha Ras Sudhanidhi, a brilliant jewel book. On his journey to South India, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered the books Krishna Karnamrita and Brahma Samhita. But then there was a third book, which became so prominent that our disciplic acharyas have regularly referred to its Sanskrit verses. Krishna Karnamrita is somewhat inclined towards Krishna. and it shows that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But Radha Ras Sudanidhi is more rasic with relation to the mellows of Madhurya Ras, or transcendental amorous love, wherein Prabhupada Saraswati prays to Radhika as the master of Krishna. Hmm. Krishna always wants to serve Srimati Radhika, and Prabhupada Saraswati also prays to be her dasi. This is the highest topic of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and Srila Gopal Bhatt took his view, Radha Dasi, and not anything else. They want that Krishna should serve Srimati Radhika. Wait, do you have any comments? Okay. We see in Raslila in Vrindavan that the gopis are all weeping, rolling on the earth, always searching for Krishna. Oh Krishna, Krishna, where are you? Without you we will die. On the other hand, Prabhupada Saraswati has written in Radha Sudanidhi, why should the gopis cry and weep for Krishna? Krishna should weep, rolling down on the earth and lamenting. Oh Srimati Radhika, where are you? I'm dying without you. Krishna should search here and there, in all groves and mountains. He should desire to meet with Radhika and take her foot dust. This is the highest topic given by our Goswamis in their books, especially in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gopal Bhatt learned all these topics from Prabhupada Saraswati, and therefore Prabhupada Saraswati is his Guru Pada Padma, Guru. You can imagine how beautiful and how rasik and pavuka, full of transcendental emotions, and learned was Gopal Bhatt Goswami. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Sri Rangam, Gopal Bhatt became mad to meet him and to serve him, but Mahaprabhu told him, you should serve your father, because he's not only your father, but he is your guru. All three brothers were acharyas in the Ramanuja Sampradaya. All three greatly learned, and all three trained Gopal Bhatt. Thus his father was his Shiksha Guru. You should serve him, but after that you should come to your elder brother Rupa and Raghunath in Vrindavan and remain with them. After the disappearance of Venkat Bhatt, Prabhupada Saraswati left his home and came to Vrindavan. He lived in Kamyavan and all the 12 forests of Vrindavan, and a separation mood used to call out, oh, where is Srimati Radhika? Lalita Vishaka, where are you? He was always weeping and rolling down on the earth. So Gopal Bhatt thought about where he himself should live and how to attain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So he also left. He wanted to go to Puri, but he could not go because Mahaprabhu had ordered him to stay home and look after his parents. And after they would leave their body, he should go to Vrindavan, to the lotus feet of Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad and Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. He was now searching how to reach Vrindavan. On his journey, he went to the Himalayas, where the Gomati River flows. As he was bathing in the river, he saw that a large salagram was following him. It was automatically coming, and it seemed to be telling him, I will take your service, please serve me. He therefore picked up that salagram in his arms, sometimes keeping him on his head, sometimes on his eyes, and sometimes on his heart. He took the salagram to Vrindavan, where he met Rup and Sanatan. Rup and Sanatan now embraced this pure Rasik Vaishnav, Gopal Bhatt Goswami. In the meantime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from this world. To read more about Gopal Bhatt Goswami's separation feelings from Mahaprabhu, you may like to read the book Bhakti Ratnakar. In Vrindavan, one day Gopal Bhatt Goswami went to Radharaman Gira, near the Seva Kunj in the area of Nidhuvan, a very sacred and very secret place of Radha and Krishna. There he began to think, how can I serve this shalagram? He wanted to see the Lord's eyes, face, and arms, his threefold bending form, and his lotus feet. He wanted to decorate him at the time of Julan, the swing festival. During the night, he was so much worried, thinking, how can I serve him? If he would have a very beautiful threefold form and a smiling face with flute, this would be very, very good for rendering service to him. Then at midnight, that shalagram spoke to him. Oh, Gopal Bhatt, just see how beautiful I am. Gopal Bhatt got up and went to the deity, and he saw, oh, how beautiful! Radharaman! He had the face of Govindaji, the chest of Gopinath, and the feet of Madan Mohan. So Govinda, Gopinath, and Madan Mohan appeared in him, three in one, in Radharaman. Gopal Bhatt Goswami was so delighted to see this. He called all the Goswamis, who became amazed, thinking how glorious his bhakti was, that the shalogram had changed into Radha Raman. You can imagine what a first-class Vaishnav he was. He was not only a Vaishnav, but very dear and near to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. He is Guna Manjari in Krishna's pastimes. By his prayers, the shalogram became Radha Raman. He was not only a Bhabuka and Rasik Bhakta, but as I mentioned before, he was vastly learned. He had all the Vedas and all the scriptures of Ramanuja in his throat. This is because, previous to his hearing from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth, he was a follower of Ramanuja Sampradaya and had been well trained by his father and uncles. Oh, this is long. How much should I read? Okay, I'll find the ending point. Srila Sanatana Goswami told him some rules and regulations according to the Vaishnava etiquette by which one can become eligible to worship Radha and Krishna, or any Vishnu Tattva deity. How to take sannyas, how to take diksha, how to take mantra, what are the qualifications of disciple, qualifications of guru. It is not that everyone can be guru, neither everyone can be disciple. Only those who are detached from worldly desires and sense gratification, those who are learned in all the Vedas and Vaishnava scriptures, and those who have some realization of service to both Radha and Krishna can be guru, regardless of caste and creed. My gosh. He just quoted something from C.C. Madhya Leela, but yeah, he's just talking about we should be chanting no less of 64 rounds, and those who can take Krishna and place him in the disciple's heart, they are guru. So you can imagine the glorious symptoms of a bona fide guru. If any person has a guru like this, he is so lucky. We are lucky that we are direct disciples of Guruji, who was a direct disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Also, those who are disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj are so lucky. To have a qualified guru is a great fortune. Yeah, now he's talking about Hari Bhakti Vilas. Yeah, it goes for just like a few more paragraphs. What do you think? Okay. Oh, actually it says here. Gopal Bhatt wrote a book with all such directives, and it was called Hari Bhakti Vilas. The title of this book has a very beautiful, wonderful meaning. Hari Bhakti Vilas. In the full bloom of youth, Krishna is always relishing prem, love. He's always enjoying loving pastimes, Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari means Krishna, who takes the heart of Srimati Radhika, and he is Hari, who is always dancing and singing in the hearts of Srimati Radhika and the gopis. He is Hari. So at first, Sanatana Goswami gave him some points based on which he collected all the proofs of scriptures such as the Puranas and Nigam and Agam, and presented his manuscripts to Sanatana Goswami. Srila Sanatana Goswami guided him in selecting those scriptural references that were in accordance with Mahaprabhu's teachings, and then Gopal Bhatt Goswami further refined his work and compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas. So then he talks about how some people wonder who was the actual writer, whether it was Sanatan or Gopal Bhatt Goswami. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested the book in both of their hearts, and he gave both of them the inspiration to write it. Yeah. And yeah, he's just saying what is the book, why we should follow his guidelines to establish temples, install deities, to give diksha and mantra. There is only one initiation which comes first as Harinam and then as Diksha. Out of his causeless mercy, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj has made easy grammar for this, and therefore he gave the nomenclatures, first initiation, etc. The process of Diksha is given in order to make one's Harinam more bona fide. So now it just talks about what is Diksha, etc., etc. That's like, okay. So that's Radharamanji and Srila Gopal Goswami's Ki Jai. Srila Ramacandra Kaviraja Ki Jai. Gorpamanande Hariva. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,